All right, well, let's keep rolling. That is all of the 1 p.m. games locked and loaded. Let's move to afternoon action, and we start with the game that I will be at live with my dad. Denver Broncos 7-8, 3-4 on the road at Los Angeles Chargers 8-7, 4-4 at home. SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, baby. If anybody's going to be at SoFi this week, hit me up on Twitter. Let's have some beers at halftime. This is going to be fun. And more fun for me because I don't have a dog in the fight. My dad has a very difficult time watching the Chargers these days because their defense is so unbelievably atrocious. The Chargers open up at -6, but just at -105 at Bet365. That's moved to 5.5. This total opened up at 45.5, and it's now at 45. The cash flow here in this game, we have. Sorry, move over here. We have 2,244 tickets in, so small sample size, but they're all over the Chargers. 52% of tickets, so it's a pretty much 50-50 public situation, but 98% of the cash is on the Chargers. Then 37% of tickets are on the under, and 99% of the cash is on the under. B-Ball going to be there too. My man B-Ball met up with us. Oh, no, he says the Chargers are killing him. I'm not saying he's going to be at the game. B-Ball, is so much fun hanging with you at Santa Anita, my man. I got you. I got you for life, my man. That was really, really fun. You're a great dude. Let's roll here. Broncos coming off a 17-13 loss at the Raiders that severely damages their playoff hopes and hurt me financially. It's their third loss in 4 games. The Broncos were just 1-10 on third down. They had just 158 yards. Drew Lock in for the concussed Teddy Bridgewater was 15-22 for 153 yards. And the Raiders played their cards. We saw exactly what they were going to do. They showed their cards. They were going to fill the box and make sure that Javonte wasn't going to beat them and Melvin Gordon wasn't going to beat them because they knew that Drew Lock couldn't beat them, and they were absolutely right. Their offense was completely shut down. Broncos rushed 16 times for 18 yards. Jerry Jeudy led receivers with 3 catches for 60 yards. Bradley Chubb had a pick. They combined for 2 sacks and 2 quarterback hits. Offensive tackle Lloyd Cushenberry, defensive tackle Mike Purcell, and Andre Mintz were inactive. Oh, no, they've been added to the COVID list, I believe. Sorry. I believe that they have been added to the COVID list. Let me just go over this very quickly as it's right here. This is just, it's taking the fun out of capping. So Bridgewater still in concussion protocol. And yes, so Purcell and Mintz were added to the COVID list today. So they joined Cushenberry. So they have a pretty small COVID list. They're a pretty healthy group. Defensive tackle Jonathan Harris, linebacker Kenny Young, quarterback Teddy Bridgewater were all inactive last week, and our list is questionable this week. Chargers coming off an ugly 41-29 loss to the lowly Texans. It was about the only thing I did right last week. Ravaged by COVID, an already weak Chargers defense looked awful. Herbert, though, 27-35, 336 yards, touchdown, 2 picks. No Austin Eckler. Justin Jackson looked very good, 11 carries for 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. He also caught 8 passes for 98 yards. He did lose a fumble. He looked very good. Jason Moore caught 3 passes for 56 yards. Keenan Allen caught just 4 passes for 35 yards. And that goes back to what we've been talking about here in player props. So many of the weapons for the Chargers were out, but Keenan Allen was in. And so they blanketed him. They had double coverage on him all game, and he didn't hurt them. So Joey Bosa, Eckler, Mike Williams, center Corey Linsley were the big pieces that were on the COVID list. Drew Tranquil left in the third quarter with a leg injury, but this COVID list is hurting them badly. So let's just go over one last look of this COVID list and then hand it over to Bebsie. These Chargers, so they added today long snapper Matt Overton, offensive tackle Trey Pipkins, cornerback Devontae Harris, place kicker Dustin Hopkins, their safety Gilman. Yesterday they added cornerback Michael Davis, Nazir Adderley, cornerback Chris Harris, and Mike Williams. So Mike Williams is out. That's why they're moving him here So Chris Harris is out, won't play against the Broncos. And Nazir Adderley. So these guys were already on the COVID list, but they're not playing on Monday. Those guys. The players that we don't know if Jalen Guyton could get better in time. Trey Marshall as well. Keelan Hall, cornerback, is able to be healthy, and Joey Bosa could be back in time, and Corey Linsley could be back in time. Wow, what an absolute mess! Holy shit! All right, take it away here, Bebsie. Sorry about drawing this out, but it's just so important if we're betting it. Should the Chargers be this big of favorites with all these players out?
Well, I think this is indicating that they're expecting to get at least some of these key players back. And I believe they will as well, which is why I think I lean Chargers here because, listen, this could be a get-right spot for the Chargers given the fact that Teddy Bridgewater is not likely going to get out of concussion protocol in time to play. So it's Drew Lock going against this defense that should be getting Bosa back, which is huge. I mean, he's everything on that defense right now, and he's not even having a particularly special season, but he's still Joey Bosa. So I think this is still a Charger spot. I don't know. I can't bet it. You're right. COVID is taking the fun out of capping, and it's just ruining football right now entirely. I think I like that they're trying to make adjustments. I don't know how you do. This whole thing's been so fucking unpredictable anyways, but lean Chargers here. I think this is a get-right spot, and I don't think the Broncos win again until they either get Teddy Bridgewater back or we're looking at next year when they hopefully draft a quarterback. They need a quarterback or trade for one. Jimmy Garoppolo might look real nice in a Broncos uni.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get him out of San Francisco at this point after what we've seen. I think we've seen enough. I think that this has to be a stay off at this point. I think it has to be
absolutely. I can't bet it. If you forced me to, I would probably take the Chargers. And that's mostly because I believe even against this very good Broncos defense, I think the Chargers can that offense can put up some points, especially if they get some key pieces back.
Burgundy Bet says you can't responsibly lay money in points for the Chargers anymore. Sure, they would win and cover, but they also shouldn't have lost by double digits to Texans. I think the problem with fading the Chargers right now is how bad they looked last week, and they're going to be back home. So I think that you want to hesitate. And I make this mistake still, believing in what I saw last week, and you shouldn't. And then the Broncos could be, if they could get Teddy back, and why wouldn't they? It's just a concussion, and we've seen enough of Drew Lock. So I'm not going to move here on this. I can't fade the Chargers after how bad they looked last week. Although I would, if I had a free play, I would take the Broncos plus the points right now. But I think that might be a terrible blunder. You're right. This is probably a buy low spot on the Chargers, and I'm going to stay off. Slatsy says he went by my place. Says the pigeons were all inside watching TV and drinking my Kraken. Okay.